So now we're going to move on to the final section of our show, which is going to be Franchise Spotlight. What is Franchise Spotlight? That is when Ryan and I watch every single movie in a franchise, break it down movie by movie, and talk about them here on the show. But with with franchises more than 5 movies, we like to break it up into bits. And we tackled a big fucking franchise this time.
That was recommended to us.
It was.
Yippee!
Yes, by more than one person. So, Ryan, what franchise are we tackling now?
We are doing the critically acclaimed X-Men franchise.
Oh, yes. And how we're going to break it up, because we discussed different ways we should break it up. Like, we're like, should we do one trilogy, then this trilogy, and then these extra movies, or should we... And then we decided, you know what? Chronological.
Yep.
We're just going to do it in the order that they were released. Mm-hmm. So we're going to start with the first 3 X-Men films. X-Men, X2, X-Men United, and X-Men The Last Stand. And by chronological, we mean by release date, not by the order of the story.
Because they're all continuity, schmontinuity.
Oh, which we will get into with Fox here in a minute. But, I'm going to go ahead and start with the first X-Men.
Yeah, absolutely.
This film came out in 2000. This film is credited with kicking off the age that we're still in of just like the superhero comic book movie kind of taking over Hollywood and being the event films to see. We did have a couple movies before this, like Blade came out before this, but it didn't really market itself as a comic book movie, where X-Men was all in on, like, based on the Marvel comic, you know?
Yeah.
And Charles Roven, who produced Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and works over at Warner Brothers, credits this movie for a mass greenlighting of comic book projects across Hollywood, and he credits the opening scene of Magneto as a child in Auschwitz,
which is haunting.
It's horrifying. This comic book sci-fi movie opens with a child in the Holocaust being taken away from his family, and in his rage discovers he has the ability to bend metal as he shuts the gates down. And it sets like you in like it's an attention getter, as Sheriff Buford T. Justice would say, and it really, really gets you into the style of the movie.
Yeah.
The movie's very stylistic. Some of it doesn't age all that well in terms of just, visual effects and storytelling, but I think a lot of it's pretty solid. It introduces us to fucking Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, which is one of the most iconic performances ever.
That he'll have the longest reigning, what is it? Like he has a Guinness World Record for
the number of years, yeah.
Yeah, which is nuts.
It's crazy. And also... But, the casting all around was fucking top-notch. You have Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. You have Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Ian McKellen as Magneto. Famke Jensen as Jean Grey. James Marsden as Cyclops.
Rip.
And Anna Paquin as Rogue. And I'm Halle Berry as Storm. Tons of people. And, it introduces the X-Mansion. And what really kind of, I think... sets this movie above from like a typical like stereotype not great comic book movie is it has this backdrop of mutant rights, because like the comic books are very much based on civil rights, and in the updated movie, which like I said came out in 2000, this was more centered around the gay rights area of should people be registered as mutants, should we make people say if they're a mutant if they know they're a mutant, and like that sort of legal battle brought into it, because then you have the clashing ideologies of Magneto and Xavier, where one of them is more like, hey, we should work peacefully with humans and we should just learn to coexist, and you have Magneto, who is like, nah, fuck them humans, they treated us like shit for years, I was in the Holocaust, I've seen how bad humans can be, and I'm not fucking dealing with it anymore. And for that reason, he's one of my favorite villains ever. Love Magneto. But as the story plans out, as you get introduced to the world and these characters, you really are all into this story, even though they made them wear all black leather and not their bitchin' outfits, which was annoying.
The yellow, yeah.
Yeah, but I've kind of went on about the first X-Men movie. I thoroughly enjoy X-Men. I think it's a great movie. But go ahead and you dive into your thoughts on the very first X-Men film as well.
Yeah, I loved the opening shot at the Holocaust. I mean, I loved it for the aspect that it drew you in immediately and was like, this is a comic book movie, but it has serious implications. And just how he discovered his powers is just like, it's terrifying, and it's like tear jerking. Like, he's literally being pulled away from his mother.
Yeah.
And like it's fascinating to see like how that rage and like that kind of emotion was able to draw out his powers, and then like you said, how he was able to see like the dark side of humanity, and that's why he wanted to be like, mutants are so much better, and like promote mutants being better than humans.
Yeah, and something else about this movie, like you hit the nail on the head with like showing people's powers and their emotions. You get some people with cool powers like Wolverine who can heal and get knives out of his hands, but then you have people like Rogue who are in the comic she's cooler, but in the context of the film, something I liked is like she hates her power because when she touches somebody, it just kills them.
Yeah,
it helps, like it takes whatever she touches and like helps her out, but she can't touch anybody. Yeah. And so you have like that emotion of just like, all of you are celebrating your shit, but I can't touch people, and it's like,
especially
that dynamic was interesting.
Yeah, because then she'll like later on realize that she'll just never be able to have a family, and it's so sad. And they play on those themes and feelings a lot because their powers are who they are, and there's still people with these powers, whether they like their powers or not. And it's just fascinating to watch these characters like unravel throughout these movies.
And throughout all the movies, I love the pissing contest between Wolverine and Cyclops over Jean Grey. It's the fucking funniest thing. There's 2 great moments in the movie where, because the movie starts and Jean Grey and Cyclops are a thing, but Wolverine tries to get in the middle of it because he likes Jean. And there's a great scene where like Wolverine's talking to Jean and Cyclops interrupts and Jean leaves. And Wolverine's like, "You gonna tell me to stay away from your girl?" And he goes, "Well, if I had to do that, she wouldn't be my girl. But hey, Logan, stay away from my girl." It's a great scene.
Just the rivalry between them.
But the best one though is at the end of the movie when Mystique awesome character by the way, and like Mystique is becoming each X-Men member, and like she became Wolverine at one point. And Wolverine takes her out, and then the real Wolverine steps in, and they all like are on edge. You're like, "Are you Mystique?" And he goes, "It's really me, I swear." And Cyclops goes, "Prove it." And Wolverine goes, "You're a dick." And he goes, "Okay."
That's Wolverine.
Yeah. So such good stuff there. Is it cool with you if we move on to
absolutely.
X2?
Yeah.
X2 is one of the greatest fucking comic book movies ever made. I fucking love X2. Oh my god. Such a fantastic movie. Where to even begin? They apprehend Magneto at the end of the first film, so now he's in like this plastic prison, which is just awesome. And you learn more about Wolverine going to try and figure out more about his past because he has amnesia, he doesn't remember anything. And Jean Grey's starting to get the fritz, the glitchies. Yeah. And, something's going on. And then a character gets introduced named William Stryker, who you find out in the movie is the person who created Wolverine, not his mutant ability to heal and have bone claws, but the one who put the adamantium on him and the one who wiped his memory. Yep. Like the person he's been looking for the answers is right there. And he is there to just fuck mutants up. But unlike Magneto, he actually has the government power to make it happen. And he kidnaps mutants and brainwashes them to do bad things so that the president can allow him to take out mutants. Yeah. And you get the amazing opening scene with Nightcrawler at the White House. Holy shit. First of all,
what a rad opening.
Yeah, and first of all, Nightcrawler, what a badass.
Badass character.
Such a great performance by Alan Cumming. And just that whole sequence, and how, like, even for 2003, it looks flawless.
That was like a one-shot too, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It looks flawless, and it is such a well-done sequence. And the story of, or even Magneto like goes to Xavier and was like, "Yo, fuck the Stryker guy. Let's put our shit aside and handle this. Like this is bad right here."
Yeah,
that was all great. You finally get Wolverine a little less tamed. He fucking screams really loud and fucking stabs the dude through the fridge. That is my first theater memory of people clapping mid-movie.
Really?
Was Wolverine stabbing that fucker in the fridge. I was 6 or 7.
Wow.
It was awesome. Awesome. Eventually we get to Logan, but we'll get there. But
oh god, what a good movie. I can't wait to revisit that one.
Yeah. And then, you get, Cyclops gets kidnapped and has to fight Jean Grey. You get tons of awesome sequences. Emotionally, it's the most resonant. There's a great scene where Iceman, I fucking love Iceman, but when Iceman comes out as a mutant to his parents, and the way the scene's constructed is so well done. You get Pyro going with Magneto at the end.
That scene specifically has a lot of real world connections to it, because like you said, like him coming out as a mutant is very similar to
kids coming out as gay.
Exactly.
And you even get the parent saying, "Have you ever tried not being a mutant?" Like just shit like that.
Yeah.
And just the way they're able to,
it tackles real world themes.
It does
right there. That it's nothing I'll ever be able to connect to personally, and nothing you'll be able to connect to. But something being able to watch on screen and watch how horrible that is, really makes you sympathetic.
Yeah.
So like I just think that the real world themes that they tackled in that movie is fantastic.
Yeah, and then you get rad shit like Storm flying the helicopter and then using tornadoes to take out the other jets, and then when they fire a hole in it, Rogue gets flown out of the plane, so Nightcrawler fucking snatches her. God, I love
Nightcrawler's so badass.
Love this movie. I'll let you talk about it a little bit more because I've kind of just it for like for like 5 minutes. But go ahead
man,
and
you
talk
definitely
about
love these movies. Go
talk
ahead.
about X2, X-Men United.
Yeah, so I just want to bounce back to, like I was saying, like the real world themes that they have in these movies. Like, they're not just superhero movies. Like I was saying, they transcend that.
Yeah.
But Nightcrawler, that opening shot was badass. Like, it tells you everything you need to know about Nightcrawler with no dialogue. On his part, and I'm
go
ahead, dude, go ahead.
But I love his character, how he's like the Catholic guilt, and how he's just wants to do right so badly, and then he feels so bad for being brainwashed. It's heartbreaking. Go ahead.
It is.
I will interrupt you constantly.
Yeah, man, go ahead. I know that these definitely strike a chord with you, looking at all the X-Men.
Yeah, you can't see it, but I have an entire wall of X-Men shit over there.
What, 2, 4, 5, 6 things on the wall. That's it. Yeah.
For now. We'll get more.
For now. But yeah, that opening shot is honestly like one of the best openings I've ever seen. I can't get enough of that. And just like you said, how Storm was like taking out those helicopters and Nightcrawler like pops in, pops out. Like that shit is just so cool. It's so cool, and I can't wait to like. I recently just watched these movies for the first time within the past year, 2 years with you actually. So I can't wait to see like younger Nightcrawler, because like he does even cooler shit. But talking about this movie specifically, I love that like how Magneto's in that plastic prison, and like how he was able to break out like that. Shit
fucking
is
rips
so
the iron out of the dude. Yeah.
It's so fucking
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Because like he's in a plastic prison because he bends metal, but iron people's blood.
They found a way to get out.
Yeah, and that's a very smart way to resolve your problem in a script, from a script
because they had
standpoint.
Mystique like pump the guard full of it so that he would have the extra. Yeah.
Like it's such a smart way to show that. Like
very, very
transcends the phrase comic book hero.
And then you have the ending, which would lead up into the Dark Phoenix saga from the comics, where Jean Grey gives her life to save the rest of the X-Men, and then you see the outline of the Phoenix in the water. And then you get X-Men: The Last Stand.
The most accurate.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Of all of them.
No. Not a great film. Very disappointing end to the original X-Men trilogy. It's not all bad, though. For example, you get Kelsey Grammer as Beast, who was fucking delightful. Love Kelsey Grammer as Beast. So awesome.
Can't get enough of him.
The end battle is pretty cool. For the most part, like the Brotherhood of Mutants versus the school, the X-Men. Very cool. Not much else is great. The dialogue, shit. The way it handles Dark Phoenix while also trying to do the Cure storyline, shit. The way that it legit just has, oh my god, there's one moment in this movie that pisses me off so much.
Cyclops?
No. Oh, that did though. But there's a moment in this movie where Magneto, one of my favorite characters ever in anything, who loves mutants more than anything. And he wants mutants to rule the world. Like, that's how much he loves mutants. And that's how he attracts people, is like by showing like no one cares about you, but I do. When they're in the final battle, a bunch of mutants run at the X-Men and like the military. And then as someone, like a bigger character, goes to run to, Magneto stops them and says, "In chess, you let the pawns go first," implying that we're going to let those people die. And I'm just like, Magneto would never fucking do that about mutants, ever. He would love, he would care about and protect each person he recruits. Like, that is who that character is, and that just, that ekes me to no end. Although he did get to flip some cool semi-trucks and shit, so I guess that counts.
And we got the Juggernaut, bitch.
Oh my god, why'd you remind me of that? They kill Cyclops pretty much off-screen right away. And
like, in the first 10 minutes, too.
And they killed Xavier in a really fucking stupid way.
Oh my god, in the house, like at Jean Grey's house.
Yeah. And like, okay, here's the thing.
He dies, what, halfway through, I think?
Yeah, here's the thing. If you're going to kill characters, that's fine. Not the only time Xavier's died in this franchise. The other time he died, handled perfectly. Didn't make me upset at all. There was no wrap up to his story or his arc at all when he was killed.
It's just out of the
X-Men 3.
blue.
Yeah, and Cyclops even worse. Famke Janssen tried really hard as Jean Grey, Dark Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not upset with her. She, you know, and it was very heartbreaking with Wolverine because he's the only one that can heal as he goes towards her, and he has to kill her because he loves her and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Juggernaut, bitch.
With him just stampeding, and who does he goes after Stryker's son.
No, he goes after the person who is the cure for the mutants.
Oh, right.
And Ellen Page's Kitty Pryde.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic addition to the movie, I will add. She's great. Is protecting him.
Yeah, right. And then they're running through the walls.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Good thing we got another Juggernaut.
Yes, which we'll get to eventually.
Yeah.
But not a fun movie. Not a good movie.
No, it feels like that they have too much on their plate and they don't know how to handle this movie.
Yeah.
Like there's too many storylines that they're trying to control and do. And it's like,
and they also they tried to be rad. Like, oh, let's just put it in this scene because it would be cool, even though it...
Like, let's fucking kill Professor X because it'd be cool for shock factor.
Or let's cure Mystique and then have Magneto abandon Mystique.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. This movie. But, yeah, it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be. There's some merit to it still. But it is not good. It is especially not as good as the first two.
I have a sneaking suspicion on what's going to be at the bottom of your list when we wrap up this franchise.
I don't know if this is last. But it's low. Let me tell you. Dude, the X-Men movies, there are some that are like the peak of comic book movies, and there are some that are like, oh my God, that's why they didn't make them for 30 years. So we'll get there for sure.
Yeah.
But go ahead and we won't rank them till the very, very end. But go
Yeah.
ahead and give me some grades on the original X-Men trilogy. Oh, and talk about X-Men 3. I totally didn't even.
Dude, I try to block that memory, even though we just recently rewatched. Like, I try to block that memory, that movie from my memory. You hit pretty much every fucking chord that I could think of on this movie. Like, the Juggernaut is awful. It feels so out of place, and that whole character is just clunky. Is the best way to describe him. Dumb, clunky, big man, break shit. Like, that's kind of how I see him. Cyclops, they kill in the first 10 minutes. I remember watching this movie for the first time with you and being like, what the fuck? They just killed Cyclops? Like, he was such a big character in the first two movies.
Yeah.
And then, also watching it for the first time, I remember whenever they killed Professor X, like, Jean Grey is, like, tweaking out and like about to like go Phoenix mode, or their version of the Phoenix. And I remember audibly saying like, are they really just gonna kill Professor X right now? And they did, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? We're like halfway through this movie. Like, he didn't do anything. Like, he was just like, Jean, it's okay, you know me, calm down, we love you. And like, she like loses her shit, and it's just like...
And like, to give you more of an idea of how bad the dialogue is in this movie, like, if you didn't already get it from I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Which is an actual line.
Yeah. There's a scene where I think it's Mystique who's trapped on like a truck taking a bunch of mutants somewhere, and she keeps transforming into other people and mocking the security guard. And the security guard just pulls out pepper spray and goes, keep it up, I'll spray you in the face, bitch. And I'm like, what? Yeah, that
Such
movie.
A bad movie, but
yeah.
Yeah, so ranking. So
not
ranking, but like the grades. Yeah. So for the first X-Men, 4 stars out of 5. X2, 4.5 stars out of 5, and then critically acclaimed X3 would be 2 stars out of 5. What about you?
X-Men gets an A-.
Okay.
X2 gets an A+.
Oh.
X3 gets a C-.
Oh, a C-. Wow. Yeah. Not even like I was expecting a D.
Just for Beast.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just for Kelsey Grammer's Beast.
That's fair.
But yeah, no, there are other reasons, but yeah. There's some rad shit. Like full-on Iceman versus full-on Pyro, like, okay. You got my attention, movie.
Is that what it takes?
I'm a man of simple pleasures.
That's fair.
If you're not going to have a good story, have something be cool.
Do some cool shit in your movie.
I like Armageddon. That movie story's complete garbage.